Hi-ho, Space Rangers. Welcome to the Galactic Showdown here at Skate Wars. I'm Aria Kiddinme from Derby Date Night.
And I'm Danny Mac. I'm an announcer here at this tournament in Lansing.
We're trying something new here at Derby Date Night, where we are going to be giving you some behind-the-scenes content, all sorts of exclusive stuff, and every night, Danny and I are going to be giving you a rundown of things like rankings, all sorts of different, our thoughts. We could be giving you good things. We could be giving you bad things. We don't know if our advice is good or bad, but we're hoping you will watch anyway.
That's right.
And we might have something interesting to say.
And though we just got here, there's still setup going on. We were over at the convention center. The tracks are being taped. There were some practices happening. There's a liveliness that's already going on pre-tournament. Some jitters probably are also through the air. We've heard through the grapevine themes this weekend.
Yes.
There's 3 of them. Space.
Yes.
Cats.
I have my cat ears.
Star Wars.
And I brought 2 lightsabers.
Okay, so you're ready.
I'm so ready for the themes. I know you're not, but I am. So we'll have fun with it.
You're going to make up for my lack of theminess.
I will more than make up for it.
Yeah.
So the action does start early tomorrow morning at 9:15 Eastern time. So whatever kind of converter you have, get it ready because you want to be up and ready to go. I know it's Friday and you might be working, but you know you want to watch roller derby.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be going on 3 tracks all the way until 8:15 Eastern time.
And without that much more ado, I think we should get into the brackets because there's lots to cover. These early round games have different implications than the late day tomorrow.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about tomorrow because every team is going to play at least once.
Yeah.
But the first 8 games, those teams are all going to play twice tomorrow. So they will play 4 total games this weekend. So the first 8 games are for teams ranked 9th through 24th. So they will all play those 4 games this weekend. The next 8 games tomorrow are going to be the winners of the morning games and then the top ranked 1 through 8 teams in the tournament.
Okay.
So they have to win to be able to play in those games.
Right.
Then the last 4 games of the evening tomorrow will be the losers from the morning who will be playing against each other in the last 4 games.
Yeah, and this year, one kind of addition to that, this doesn't have anything to do with rankings or whatever, but it has to do with the rosters. Players can play on up to 2 rosters, and so you will see state teams play on borderless teams. You'll see, I think in a couple of cases, there are people that have only come to play on those borderless teams. So it makes it interesting. Will they clone themselves and play against each other with reversible? I don't think so. It doesn't work that way. They got to pick one or the other. But there's decisions being made as we speak of who's playing
and
where.
I just really hope that somebody will have to play against a team that they were playing on earlier in the day and have to navigate that.
Give them the stink eye on the line. Yeah.
That's just going to be fun, which, you know, that's what roller derby's all about, is having fun. All right, let's get into the games.
Sure.
So the first game of the morning is Michigan.
Yep.
Not Michigan.
Say that again.
Michigan, which is the technically B team of Michigan, but we all know Michigan's such a strong team.
Yeah.
They are not playing at a B team level, so they are definitely tournament ready. They're going to be playing Salam Roller Derby. So these are both new teams to Skate Wars, so relatively unknown. You know, we don't know exactly what we're going to be seeing with these 2 teams. So I'm excited. That should be a really competitive matchup. And you get to be on the mic for that one.
Right out of the gate. Yeah, that's a good one. And one more note about Michigan. Michigan as a state, this roller derby community serves as a really good pipeline. So they've got juniors programs throughout the state that very, in a lot of ways, thoughtfully feed up to these kinds of statewide tournaments. So again, to reiterate, that supposed B team, that's a B team in name only for Michigan.
They put on a pretty good tournament too.
Yeah, definitely. 9:30, the next game. This is game 2 for tomorrow, kicking things off. API Fury versus Team Ohio, and that's an 11-21 matchup. So there's a wide gap there, but I'll tell you this. Ohio has a revamped roster. Ohio was 22nd last season. It's very different roster than it was last year. Some leadership changes as well. So, you know, that wide gap there between those rankings, you can throw it pretty well out the window, especially with some of these new teams, these borderless teams, and the API Fury, for example. They're far flung, so they don't have a lot of practice together on the track. So we'll see how that works out and how that plays out as the tournament progresses with these borderless teams.
Yeah. And then our 9:45 game tomorrow morning, that's our home team.
Yep.
Team Indiana is going to be playing Divergence Roller Derby. Divergence is a new team. They were at Y'all Stars this year, and they took 10th. Indiana came in 8th last year at Skate Wars and left at 9th. So they kind of left with the same ranking. But this year they're ranked 14th. So in order to do better than they did last year, they're going to have to really beat their ranking this year.
Yeah.
Fun fact, which I know you know this, but I want to let the audience know, Lieutenant Jan from Divergence used to be a teammate with 4 people who are on Indiana Roller Derby. And I just think there's going to be some fun things happening and definitely some dancing on the line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That Lieutenant Jan's going to bring the moves. That's no
100%.
question about that. 11 o'clock tomorrow, Jewish Roller Derby will face Trans Rollers United. Trans Rollers underperformed last year, came in 12th, finished 21st. Jewish Roller Derby, on the other hand, came in 16th, finished 8th. I mean, kind of podium-ish.
Oh, they did great.
With their run last season. So it could be a really close matchup. Again, they're 10 seeds apart, but there's lots of factors that will determine how a team comes out. And one thing that we could talk about a little more as we go throughout this weekend is how teams place their best. Do you come out guns a-blazing? And I feel like some of these teams that are in this lower bracket are going to have to. They need to win to advance and play later on Friday.
These are do or die games tomorrow morning, and these are also the games where we are most likely to see the biggest amount of upsets because there's a lot of things that are unknown in these 9 through 24 rankings. The last one in this first round of 8 games is going to be Team Badass and Jersey All Stars. So these teams were both at Skate Wars last year, but had really opposite storylines. So Jersey came in and they kind of struggled last year.
Yeah.
So they're going to be coming in really wanting to fight and play hard. And I was looking at the roster, and it's changed quite a bit. So Jersey could come in and be a little bit of a surprise. Team Badass, on the other hand, exceeded expectations last year. And so they want to, perform at that ranking level. So I think that could potentially be an upset, because if Jersey were to win that would be a pretty big upset. But I also think that could be a close game.
It could be. And Jersey's a fun team to play. My experience a couple years ago with as a coach with Team Indiana, Jersey was one of our favorites to play. And everybody seemed to agree on that. A lot of opponents. Team Badass is, I guess we could call them a borderless team. They're sort of a pickup team.
Yes.
Mostly made up of Midwest skaters, but there's no real regional alliance.
Well, the regional alliance is they're all donkeys and they go hee-haw. I don't know why. I love it. And they wear donkey onesies or costumes and they go hee-haw, and I love it. So I just root for them for that. But I also love Jersey, so this one's going to be a hard one.
Now, the next couple of games have some similar stories for this. 2 teams coming in wanting to do better, Maryland and Wisconsin. The other 2 teams, brand new and unknown, Skatanic Temple and MORD. And we'll start with that Skatanic Temple Wisconsin matchup, which is 11:30, 16 and 18 seed. This is as close as it gets in terms of of seeding for those first couple of matchups. Skatanic Temple, a brand new team, and they have, to my knowledge, played one bout at least, performed well. But this is another case of teams that are far flung. Can they get it together? Do they have enough time together? There's instances where you have teams that their home teams are the same, so they've got some familiarity there. But you're looking at a 15 skater roster. How many of these have actually been on the floor together?
Well, and a lot of these borderless teams are coming from California, from New York, from Florida, from Texas, from all over. It's not like they can get together and have a bunch of practices and get to figure out how they're all going to skate well together. So that'll be really interesting to see how they come together.
Yeah, they're the 16 seed. Wisconsin's the 18 seed. Last year, Wisconsin also came in 18. They left 19. So they're looking to improve. But again, a lot of fun from that cheese-loving team.
Yeah. The next game at 12:45, and that's similar story to the last one you said, where we have one team that really struggled and wants to do better. They're coming in. That's Maryland. They're coming in and they're saying, you know what, we didn't do so well. Indiana, we love to play Maryland. What do we call it? The crab and corn.
The crab corn chowder.
The crab corn chowder bowl. I would love if Maryland and Indiana get to play again this year. We got to do crab corn chowder bowl again. But Maryland's really surprisingly struggled last year, so I'm expecting them to come in ready to hit hard. But they're up against a brand new team, Mo Roller Derby. That's Missouri. Do you know what team's in Missouri?
St. Louis.
Arch rival.
Yeah, that's right.
So there are people on that roster from Arch rival. That roster I was looking at earlier today is stacked.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really interesting one. But Mord's brand new. I don't know. They're Missouri. I don't know. How big is Missouri? Can they all get together and practice?
I mean, it's a fairly large
It's
state.
not Texas.
It's not Texas. It's Indiana-ish, I think, in square footage.
So these are both state teams, but
Sure.
Maryland is smaller, so they've had more practices, I'm assuming. I'm making stuff
Well,
up at this
Maryland's been around a long time as a team. Like you got to keep in mind with some of these state
true.
teams, how long has the infrastructure been there? And Maryland's been around for a while. Doesn't as you know the 23 ranking will indicate, it doesn't necessarily translate to how they'll play on the floor, but they're familiar with each other. They know they've been in this sort of environment before.
And if they do it again, I think they have crabs on their helmets
Yes,
instead of a
they
star.
do.
And that's what I loved about this tournament last year was all the teams that instead of a star would have something that was like representing them. And this week we should do we vote on whatever the best helmet cover is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Maryland is going to be hard to beat. The crab with the Maryland flag, like the Maryland flag for us flag nerds out there, is primo.
Okay. Well, we'll have a whole nother ranking show about these helmet covers,
Yeah.
and then everybody better step up their game next year. All right. What about that 1 o'clock game?
Yeah. This is Iowa, a new team, new to this tournament, and Florida. So it's a 15-17 matchup, very close rankings. Iowa's brand new. They're a combination of Illinois and Iowa, and a lot of their talent comes from two amazing Derby hotbeds in Iowa. That Des Moines area has really sprouted a tremendous amount of talent, coaching, knowledge transfer over the years, and then Illinois, of course, will have a lot of Windy City skaters, Chicago-style skaters. So that Chicagoland area is also a hotbed for really, really good skaters, and many of them have migrated to this Iowa team.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the first 8 games of the day.
Yep.
Now we get into the second round of games. So all those teams that played in the morning, we're at 2 o'clock at this point, 2 o'clock Eastern time. So this is where those teams, everybody who won a game, is going to get to play against one of the top 8 seeded teams.
Winners only,
So
baby.
we're getting into the winners bracket.
Yep.
The teams that played in the morning, they've had a chance to gel. They've gotten warmed up. They're feeling it. And these teams that are coming in higher ranked, they're coming in maybe a little colder, but they are the ones that are expected to win these next 8 games. So tell us about the first one.
Right, and those higher those higher seeded teams that are waiting for those winners, they get up to 4 games in this tournament. So Texas number 5, they'll play either API or Ohio. And last year, Texas came in as the 6th seed. A lot of people I talked with thought that was a team that was going to outplay their ranking. They ended up finishing 9th, so roughly around where they were. And a nail biter, a 1-point win against New York. The place was lit up with that bout.
It was such a good game.
Yeah.
That was so fun. That game was if you want to go back and watch a game, that 1-point finish was great.
And it kind of exemplifies what this tournament's about. I mean, Texas is, if you want to look at the kind of motherland of modern derby, like it started in Austin, the flat track style. And so there's a lot of veterans on that team, and that state really has put out a lot of great athletes. So whoever gets them, API or Ohio, is going to have their hands full.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to come ready to play.
Yep.
Speaking of, that battle was with New York, so the next team to play is going to be New York versus either Michigan or Salam. New York came in at 5th and left at 7th. They came in 4th at Y'all Stars. And so they're going to have a hard time preparing for this game because they don't know how to prepare for either that second Michigan team or Salam. These are both new to this is their first tournament, so it's going to be hard to prepare for. New York also got ranked at 3 this year, so that's a pretty high ranking. And after that 1-point loss to Texas, I would love to see those two teams go at it again later. But if New York doesn't win this game, that would be a really big surprise.
Yeah, and that's the 2:45 matchup. The 3 o'clock is Pennsylvania and either Indiana or Divergence. And last year, Pennsylvania came in 10th ranked and finished 2nd. They were the overachievers of the tournament.
So well.
They showed up big time, and Pennsylvania is always ready. And we talked about pipeline states like Michigan, Texas. Pennsylvania is another one that's really got their stuff together. And over the years, they've held tournaments of this ilk in the past. So there's infrastructure there for a really tight team that practices well together, practices often, or at least knows each other inside and out on the track. Can they do that again? Can they, cross that plateau, finish winners of this tournament? But being on the podium was very nice for them.
Yes, absolutely. And if they end up with Indiana, they're going to be playing either Indiana or Divergence. And if they end up playing Indiana, that's going to be a tough road for Indiana.
Yeah.
Last year, Pennsylvania did beat Indiana 201 to 115. But these are different teams and different rosters.
They are.
And, all of these playing the 1 through 8 teams, all of these games are going to be really hard for those lower ranked teams. And this is where you're going to see some maybe pretty cool upsets.
Yeah, it's possibility. And again, like we said, the higher ranked teams, they're coming in relatively cold.
Yeah.
So who do they throw out in those matchups? Do they throw out their best? Do they save them? Because there are minimum playing allowances for teams. Like if you have 20 skaters, you have to dress a certain amount for a certain amount of games. So there's considerations for who you dress.
Well, and if there are any injuries as well,
Right.
you have to think about that. This is the first day of the tournament. If we're all expecting to get to that championship game on Sunday, how are you going to work these games, especially if you're that higher ranked seed? Do you want to play your lower ranked, maybe you're not so high rotation skaters, but then if you do that, what if you lose? And then it's like, oh no, I was saving these skaters and it didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. Well, our next game at 3:45 is going to be California versus either Jewish Roller Derby or Trans Rollers United. California's been really solid in their rankings. They were ranked 6th last year. They're ranked 6th this year. Last year they placed 5th.
Yeah.
So they're sticking right there. They really haven't moved. They probably want to meet or even improve on that placement this year. It'd be nice to kind of move that a little bit, I'm sure. If they are playing Jewish Roller Derby, it would be another rematch. California beat JRD last year 144 to 97. But there have been some roster changes on both teams, so this could potentially be one of those upsets.
Sure. 4:30, the number 2 seed home team Michigan will face either Skatanic Temple or Wisconsin. Michigan ranked 2nd, expected to probably, they're going to compete to win this one. And we've talked about from Michigan, like what a pipeline this state is, but that first team of Team Michigan really has it together. Last season, winning it all, or I'm sorry, 2 seasons ago, winning it all. They're an incredibly cohesive team that, it's not just because they're the hosts. They're competitive in this. They are stacked throughout and very deep. Whether they play against Skatanic Temple or Wisconsin, we'll see that. But they're a prohibitive favorite. Whoever gets them is facing the teeth of the shark.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I promise I was paying attention. I just lost all the papers and I had to rearrange them. But I am back on focus. Here we go. 4:45 tomorrow, Eastern Time. It's going to be Kansas playing either Mord or Maryland. Kansas came in 5th at Y'all Stars. There are 12 teams total at Y'all Stars, where there's 24 at Skate Wars. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about these rankings. But Kansas has not played at Skate Wars yet, so relatively unknown in this tournament. But if it ends up being a matchup against Mord, so Missouri Roller Derby, these would be the neighbors.
Okay.
Some people on both of these teams would be playing. I looked at the rosters, and there are some people who have the same home team who are playing on Kansas and or Missouri, so they could be playing against each other. What I want, if this matchup happens, and I'm saying this to you right now, Mord and Kansas, if you have a matchup, I expect shenanigans on the jam line, I expect fun high fives, and I expect dancing. Is that your dancing?
That's me emphasizing, like, listen to her.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
I thought you were dancing. Okay.
No, I ain't got moves.
I bet you
I've
do.
got
I heard
encouragement.
there's line dancing tomorrow night, so we can
count me out.
or we could keep going.
Yeah, 5:30 matchup is Philippines, and they're the 8 seed. This is the lowest of those top teams that will get potentially 4 bouts this weekend. Badass and Jersey are the options for who they will play. But this was last year's Cinderella story was Philippines climbing from.
They were so fun to watch last year.
Yeah, 20th all the way to 8th, and came in just absolutely screaming hot. Beating Florida, which some people had picked Florida to win the whole darn tournament last year. And Philippines getting that win.
Florida really surprised a lot of people last year. They were ranked so high, and then they didn't do as well as was expected. So I'm curious to see how Florida does this year, because they're going to come in really like, no, we're going to show you what. Because Florida's another one of those teams that's historic. They've had they've had a state team for a long time. The final game of tomorrow, this is the big one. Black Diaspora versus either Iowa or Florida. Regardless of how this game goes, everybody's going to want to tune in because Black Diaspora is such a fun team to watch. Always.
Well-earned number 1 seed.
Looking at the rosters, though, these are familiar names, but they're missing some of those heavy hitters from last year. So I'm really interested to see not just how this game shakes out, because if they were to lose in this first round game, that would be a complete shock. Everyone would just lose their minds. But this is the first step towards their two-peat and our first chance to really see which Black Diaspora showed up this time. Like, how hard is it going to be to beat them, to play against them? The other teams are definitely going to be watching and seeing, because these are the reigning champions. So it's going to be an interesting watch. Black Diaspora is always a good time.
Yep. Yeah.
Following that, we've got our 4 games with the teams that did not win in the morning. They will all play each other. You should definitely tune in for those as well. They will be playing for where they're going to be placed on Saturday. So
and
that'll
those
be the
often
interesting
end up
part.
being some of the closest bouts of the whole tournament. So
absolutely.
there's good derby to be had.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is tomorrow. Hopefully you stuck with us and watched all of it. So with that being said, I want you to think about this, what we're about to ask. So Danny and I are going to both share with each other. We haven't shared yet to each other. We're going to say it at the same time. So first we're going to go with what is your Cinderella team?
All right. We're going to do this like paper, rock, scissors, where you go like 1, 2, 3, shoot. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, say the name.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
All right.
So this is Cinderella story. 1, 2, 3, more.
Satanic Temple.
Do you want me to explain, or do you want to explain?
I'll start. Satanic Temple. I'm just interested in any of the new teams, but Satanic Temple to me jumps out for a couple of reasons. One is they have a few skaters that I certainly know of. The first one that comes to mind is their captain, Tara Mupp, and Tara is
she's so great.
Coached her with Team Indiana, and I will tell you this: Tara Mupp is the most over-delivering probably skater I think I've ever seen. Strong as all get out, smart, fantastic teammate, puts everything together. So I think Satanic Temple has an opportunity to really surprise some people because nobody knows much about him yet.
And a Derby Date Night member. If you want to know more about how to join and become a member of Derby Date Night, you can look at our YouTube channel and find out more about how you can support us in making more of this content.
Excellent, yeah.
And back to the actual conversation.
And your moored prediction.
My moored prediction.
Yes.
So Missouri Roller Derby. Looking at that roster, I just think that they are going to be a surprise. They're coming in ranked lower than I would have ranked them. Yeah. And I just think that they are going to really surprise everyone and be a darling in this tournament.
Yeah. Nice.
All right.
Okay,
winner.
This time I'm going to get it right. We're going to count 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to say it at the same time.
I think I did it right last time.
You did it 100% right.
Okay.
This is self-talk.
Okay,
ready?
We're going for the winner of the tournament.
Yep.
1,
2, 1. Ready?
1, 2, 3, or 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Michigan. Oh, we both chose the same one.
Yeah, so the home team.
Yep.
But again, I mean, we talked about it kind of ad nauseum in this tournament. The talent pipeline in this state is so darn good. They play together enough. There's just such a community here that feeds this type of environment, that feeds a state team incredibly well. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and they're my pick too, and it's because I always root for an underdog.
Yep.
Black Diaspora is the obvious kind of choice to have a two-peat. I always root for Black Diaspora. I love watching them, but Michigan I feel like was so strong last year, and they were so close. They did not get into the final matchup, but they did score a little bit better against Black Diaspora last year than Pennsylvania did in that final game, and so that's kind of why I chose Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much talent. It's very difficult to pick. I
Yeah.
mean, and the way this tournament works, I mean, we haven't talked too much about the mechanics of I don't want to, but all that said, having those lower ranked teams have to play twice in that first day,
that's rough.
Matters a lot. And
Yeah.
so these higher ranked teams like a Michigan, they're going to get some teams that may have been beaten up a little bit in the morning.
Yep, absolutely.
So they're at a slight bit of an advantage. They're coming in colder,
Yeah.
but at least they're coming in fully healthy.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be so fun. I'm looking forward to
me
it.
too.
Or today, if you're watching this today, because we are going to have seriously
Friday,
doing some
Saturday,
editing.
Sunday are
Yes.
the tournament days.
Yep. So we will be live again. Not live. This is recorded. I'm used to being live. But we will be back again to record tonight to talk about, or tomorrow night,
Yep.
to talk about what happened on Friday and to give you kind of our inside take on how those games went and what to watch for on Saturday. But first, you got to tune in tomorrow for the Saturday games.
That's right.
Lansing Roller Derby's YouTube page is where you're going to find all the live streaming. So for all the games, all 3 tracks, all day long. Derby Date Night, our YouTube page is where you're going to find all the behind-the-scenes content, these kind of analysis conversations, and then our Facebook page, Derby Date Night, is where you're going to find me being a dork, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
Yeah.
you are who you are, and that's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. So subscribe to all of those. Subscribe to the Skate Wars. We're going to go get some rest.
Yep. 9:15 tomorrow.
9:15 tomorrow, first game. We'll see you there. Can't wait to enjoy a great Skate Wars with you, 2025. Okay, we're done. Bye.